Hello and good night. Welcome to another bedtime story. This story is meant to help you sleep or to relax your mind. Try and find a comfortable place, such as your bed or a soft chair. If you feel comfortable, you can close your eyes now. Try and let go of the day as we begin our tale. Tonight's story is The Golden Goose. Once upon a time, in a small village, there lived 3 brothers and their kind but poor parents. The eldest 2 sons were strong and confident, while the youngest, named Simpleton, was often ridiculed for being naive and kind-hearted. Despite this, Simpleton remained cheerful and hard-working, never holding grudges against those who mocked him. One day, their father sent the eldest son into the forest to chop wood, giving him food and drink for the journey. As the young man began his work, an old man appeared and politely asked for a bite to eat. The eldest son, being arrogant and selfish, refused, saying he had barely enough for himself. The old man, displeased with his greed, muttered a few words and left. As the young man continued chopping, his axe suddenly slipped and cut his leg, forcing him to limp home in pain. The next day, the second son was sent to chop wood. Just like his brother, he too encountered the old man, who asked for a small share of his food. The second son, just as greedy and unkind, scoffed and refused. Once again, the old man muttered some words and left. Soon after, the second son struck his foot with his axe and had to return home, injured and empty-handed. Finally, it was Simpleton's turn. His parents were hesitant, but he insisted on going. With a humble meal packed, he set off into the forest. As he began his work, the same old man appeared and asked for food. Unlike his brothers, Simpleton kindly shared his meal and even offered the old man a drink. The old man, pleased with Simpleton's generosity, smiled and said, "Because you have a kind heart, I shall grant you good fortune. Chop down that tree, and you shall find your reward." Simpleton did as he was told, and as the tree fell, he discovered a beautiful golden goose nestled inside its trunk. Amazed, he picked up the goose and took it home. On his way back, he stopped at an inn for the night. The innkeeper's 3 daughters were immediately drawn to the golden goose, and, one by one, they tried to pluck a feather. However, the moment they touched it, they found themselves stuck fast to the goose. The next morning, Simpleton set off for home, with the golden goose under his arm and the 3 daughters trailing behind him, unable to free themselves. Along the way, a priest saw the strange sight and, believing he could resolve the matter, grabbed the last girl's hand. Instantly, he too became stuck. Further along, a farmer tried to intervene, followed by 2 laborers, but all of them found themselves bound to the goose. As they entered the kingdom, people gathered in astonishment at the bizarre procession. Even the king's daughter, who had never once laughed in her life, came to see the sight. The moment she laid eyes on the odd parade, she burst into uncontrollable laughter. The king, overjoyed to see his daughter finally laughing, declared that whoever had made her laugh would win her hand in marriage. However, the king was reluctant to let a simple peasant marry his daughter, so he set 3 seemingly impossible tasks for Simpleton. First, he had to find a man who could drink an entire cellar of wine. Remembering the old man in the forest, Simpleton sought him out. The old man introduced him to a giant who was always thirsty. The giant drank every last drop in the king's cellar, completing the first task. Next, the king demanded Simpleton find a man who could eat an entire mountain of bread. Once again, the old man helped him by introducing a man with an insatiable appetite who devoured the bread effortlessly. For the final task, the king ordered Simpleton to find a ship that could sail both on land and on water. With the old man's guidance, Simpleton found such a ship, and he presented it to the king. At last, the king had no choice but to keep his word. He gave his daughter's hand in marriage to Simpleton, who was now seen as clever and deserving of his fortune. And Simpleton and the princess lived happily ever after. The end. Thank you for listening to this bedtime story. I hope you enjoyed the tale tonight. If you did, please like the video and subscribe to the channel for more audiobooks and tales to come. Until next time.